Welcome back to Living with Classic and day 11 of daily videos for December, or up until Christmas. We have the XJ40 running here in the background, which is the star of the Christmas special. Remember when we got it running, I poured in just a cheap parts store oil to flush it out because there was old oil left in the oil cooler and there was so much coolant in there. I just wanted us to flush it out. I've driven it just around the block now, let it warm up here, and pull in the workshop, get rid of this stuff, change the filter, change the oil, and put in some good fresh stuff. But let me show you what it sounds like. I think it's a tiny bit tappety with this oil, but it's not the greatest, so I'm glad I haven't driven it for long. It's maybe had an hour run time in here. But switch the camera around, show you guys, show the oil pressure, drive in, change the oil, and see if it's any better. Oh, injectors are always quite noisy on 40s, but engine does sound nice and healthy. Idle still high, I need to adjust that. Oil pressure is good. Fuel level not so good. But you see we're pretty much up to temperature there. So let's pull it into the workshop and drain out this oil. Let's see what it looks like coming out. Hopefully not too milky from what was in the oil cooler. We tried to drain it, but let's see. It'll probably make a mess because these engines have like the biggest drain plug I've ever seen. It's long too. Come on. I don't know why they're this long. Okay, starting to get a drip. Oh, only this tiny mess. But yeah, it's dark, so it's done its job. And it looks like there's a slight milkiness to it. Makes sense. We'll let that drain, and we'll have a look at the pan once it's drained. It's pretty black, considering it's an hour runtime or something on it, maybe an hour and a half. So that is why I always talk about this. If you have an engine that's been sitting for a long time, the engine we swapped in have been sitting for 10 years or something, put a cheap oil in first, run it for maybe an hour or so, even less if you want to. Pour out, it's going to be black, then put in the good stuff you want to use. And then I would make that a pretty tight oil change interval as well. And after that, you should be good to go. I'm ready now to add some oil. We'll do that and then fire it up. Forgot to mention it, but I'm using Castrol GTX 10W40. Really like it. It's pretty inexpensive for what it is. It has a lot of cleaning detergents in there. And that is good enough for me. If you remember, that guy with the highest mileage vehicle, he has a Volvo P1800, Irv Gordon, sadly passed away a couple years ago. He ran GTX in his car forever. So back in the day, that was just, the classic GTX. But he moved on to this stuff, and I'm not sure if he was sponsored or anything, but he did over 3 million miles in that car. So it's going to do just fine here. Let's fire it up, see if we build oil pressure, hopefully. There we go. It usually shows up pretty slowly on the gauge. I think the sensor is a little slow, but let's see. And there we go. Going up there. Still building a little bit more. Pretty close to a maxed out gauge there. Let me go out, check for leaks. Otherwise, we'll pull the car outside. Seems to be running very, very nicely. No leaks. really sweet. Still have some air in the power steering, so that's what I think I'm hearing down there. Add a little bit more fluid. I checked underneath with no leaks. I just think we had a massive amount of air in that system. Still some air in the system, but I guess we just have to drive it a bit more. Alright, that is one more thing done on the car. Got correct oil in it, and like I said, I like this stuff. It cleans up and things, so if anything's a little gummed up or anything, after a bit of driving, things are going to get better, and I'll swap it out pretty soon, and then it will be back on regular intervals. Looked pretty good underneath, no real leaks to speak of, so I think we did a pretty good job, even if it was a time crunch. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. I'm trying to go for 30,000 by the end of the year, big goal, but let's see if we can get there. And I'll see you guys in a video tomorrow.